Greetings, fellow knowledge seekers. Ernis here, ready to embark on another exhilarating expedition into the heart of cutting-edge research. Today, we're not just skimming the surface. We're diving deep into a fascinating paper that wrestles with a fundamental question in the world of artificial intelligence. Why do these so-called smart vision language models, VLMs, for short, sometimes see the right answer but just don't seem to believe it? We're talking about a paper titled Seeing but Not Believing, Probing the Disconnect Between Visual Attention and Answer Correctness in VLMs. Now, that title alone is a cosmic head-scratcher, isn't it? Think of it like this. Imagine you're an astronomer peering through a telescope, and you clearly see a new planet shimmering right there in the eyepiece. But your brain, your reasoning, refuses to accept the evidence. It tells you it's a smudge on the lens, a trick of the light, anything but a new world. That's the kind of disconnect these researchers are investigating in VLMs. So, what's their core argument? Simply put, these researchers are suggesting that VLMs often internally understand the visual information presented to them. They identify the relevant objects, the key details, but they struggle to integrate that understanding into a correct answer. It's not a matter of blindness, but a failure of reasoning. Intriguing, right? Now, to truly grasp this, I want you to picture a grand, multi-storied memory palace, a cosmic citadel of understanding. Each floor represents a different aspect of this research. On the ground floor, we have the layer-wise transition. Here, the authors dissect how VLMs process information, layer by layer, like peeling an onion, if onions were made of data. What they found was that the early layers of these models are primarily focused on the text of the question. They're parsing the words, understanding the grammar, trying to figure out what's being asked. It's like a student frantically highlighting keywords in a test question, but as you move up to the deeper layers of the network, something shifts. These layers begin to focus more intently on the visual information, the image itself. It's like our student finally looking up from the question to actually see the diagram or picture that holds the answer. Now, let's ascend to the second floor of our memory palace. Deep layer visual grounding. Forget scattering attention everywhere. These deeper layers act like focused spotlights, zeroing in on the specific parts of the image that hold the key to answering the question. Imagine you're searching for a specific constellation in the night sky. You don't just stare randomly at the cosmos, you use your star charts to pinpoint the exact region where it should be. That's what these deeper layers are doing, filtering out the irrelevant visual clutter and focusing on what matters. And now, for the most mind-bending revelation. The third floor of our palace, the heart of the mystery. Seeing but not believing. The researchers discovered that even when these deeper layers correctly identify the crucial visual elements, the VLM can still get the answer wrong. The model sees the planet, but refuses to believe it's there. It's like, fine, the telescope clearly shows a planet with sentient hamsters tap dancing on its surface. Fine, yeah, I guess. The point is, the model sees it, but the answer it gives is, nah, that's just swamp gas. Why does this happen? The researchers suggest two main culprits. First, there's textual information dominance. VLMs, especially the ones we have now, tend to lean very heavily on the language part of the equation. If the text in the question triggers a certain association, the model might just run with that, even if the visual evidence contradicts it. Question mentions apple, answer must be fruit, regardless of the picture showing a cat wearing a tiny hat. It's like being so convinced that your GPS is right that you drive your car straight into a lake. Second, there's visual context underutilization. These models can be like tourists who only glance at the brochure instead of actually exploring the city. They don't fully integrate the visual information, they just grab a few superficial details and move on. But here's where things get really interesting. The researchers didn't just diagnose the problem, they cooked up a clever solution. They developed something called visual evidence augmentation, or VEA. Think of it as giving the model a pair of super-powered glasses that highlight the important parts of the image. VEA works by using the attention patterns of those deep layers, the ones that are already good at spotting the relevant visual information, to create a kind of spotlight effect on the original image. It's like saying, hey, model, look here. This is what you should be paying attention to. And guess what? It works. The researchers showed that VEA consistently improves the accuracy of VLMs across a range of different tasks in model architectures. By making the visual evidence more salient, they help bridge the gap between perception and reasoning. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? This paper reveals a fascinating disconnect in how VLMs process visual information. They're not blind, but they're not always believing what they see. But, by understanding this, and by developing clever techniques like VEA, we can nudge these models toward a more integrated and reliable understanding of the world. And that, my friends, is a giant leap for AI. Now, if you're itching to dive deeper into the equations, the experimental setups, and the nitty-gritty details, I highly encourage you to check out the full paper. You can find it on Archive. I'll put a link in the show notes. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of human, and, hopefully, one day, AI understanding. This is Ernis, signing off.